Hello dear students, welcome to CHaitanya, India's largest exam platform where you can secure your dream by enrolling SCORE. So as we discussed earlier also that this platform will give you 2.5 crore cash rewards, 350 crore scholarships, NASA trips, exciting gadgets as well as up to 100% scholarship in the India's leading institute where you can crack every subject, where you can understand every subject, every concept, whichever thought you have in your mind, you can understand, you can crack it very well. So welcome to CHaitanya, myself Neeraj Agnihotri, your physics NEET mentor. Previously, in the previous session, we discussed mock test 1. So where I discussed so many questions in which mechanics part was tackled, and we discussed in that way that it was a very simple thing. It was very simple. The only thing is which we require is the fundamentals. And when we are very strong enough in the fundamentals, we can understand and crack the exam very well. Now, in today's session, if you are very new to the channel, this is your very first day. So it's my very strong advice to you. Don't forget to subscribe, like and comment and share. Done? So this is the exam pattern which we discussed in the previous sessions also, that you may take a screenshot of it. And the best part of is what in physics session, your whole mechanics will be tested. Very important. And it will give you a clue that how much you are lagging, how much you are ahead of, how much you need to put more best efforts for it to crack the exam. So I hope we are running on it and you all are putting your best efforts for this exam. So hopefully we will all meet on 28th of September for this exam, right? So now this was the syllabus which we discussed earlier also. And don't forget to register, because in this exam, most of the students, which will definitely give you all India single digit ranks, they have enrolled already, and I will assure you about it. Am I right? So I just want that you should be a part of this journey, to a part of this race, so that you shouldn't feel that you are not on the platform, because CHaitanya Institute is going to give you a very strong platform to compete with the all. Yes? Now, mock test 2 practice session is about to happen, and today I picked some of the very good questions with which, if you will just understand right now what we will discuss, it will be a very boon for you, that you will crack the relevant concepts wherever you will follow the questions. Though in the mock test 2 I tried to give you somehow some bit of level in which you will find few of the questions you will be finding that these questions are, you think it is not very high or something like that, but they are not very high. We will apply the very fundamentals, how to solve these questions. So mock test 2 is happening. So for this mock test to happen, agenda of the session is, again, we need mock test preparation, because we want to crack SCORE first, then we will crack the NEET, and we will get rewarded with so many things, that is the cash rewards, scholarship, and to compete with all over India's topmost brains who are sitting already enrolled and eagerly waiting to compete with you on 28th of September. Topic distribution will be there, and live problem solving as we are doing from the previous slides also, solution, discussion and shortcuts wherever is required. And I tell you, in today's session, I will be focusing on the topics which are very important, something like moment of inertia. Second point, angular momentum, how to write. So don't miss out. It is very important. And high impact formula drill, definitely you might be aware of that elastic collision is happening. So you might be having the concept in your mind, elastic collision, how to solve. And recap and assignment, I will give you 1 or 2 questions from this slide today, and you can solve by your own. Done? Now, see, what will be discussed again, the basic concepts of the mechanics. Since we are focusing, this SCORE test is guiding us for mechanics. So our main focus of this session is the concepts of mechanics we must discuss. And what else? How to approach for the numerical analysis. Means we'll be solving some numerical, we'll be solving some objectives, how to analyze, how to execute, what are the very important things which you should, when you are solving this thing, that you should be having in your mind. It's very important, right? So in the third case, we are using some calculus. Definitely today we'll be having like 1 or 2 questions where the calculus will be there, and the graphical, most important part in the mechanics. Or by the way, all are very important, but graphical part is also very, very important. I will tell you why. Because graphical part is the only part which is very easy to score in score exam and the final NEET exam. So that is the very important thing. So we'll be moving on to the first question of our session. What is that? A yo-yo. It's a yo-yo resting machine is there. In a rough horizontal surface is there. Forces we have applied F1, F2, F3 and like that. They are applied separately. So it is not, they are not applied like, the one as a one, but they are applied separately. First we applied F1, then we applied like F2, then we applied like F3. Am I right? So these 3 forces we applied one by one. So we need to see this, what has happened in this case. So in the first case, he said when F3 is applied, what is happening? When F2 is applied, what is happening? When F1 is applied, what is happening? So we are looking for this option. What should be the best option for this question? So I hope you might have taken the screenshot, and I hope you will give me this answer also, because the option I have already marked for you. C. Why I marked C? Because when you take the screenshot, you will be having the option on your screen also. That's why I usually put the options right at the first. Am I right? So I want it should be very helpful for you too. Now see how to solve this question. Let's see this. See, F1, F2, F3. Now I'll tell you one of the very fundamental point. See, if I use this F3 first, let me use F3 first. Am I right? Let me use the F3 first. See, if I use F3 first, now let's look at the F3 only. Okay, beta. See, when you use F3 first, so you are pulling this body up, that is sure. Forget about F2 and F3. Forget about. But at this point, you can see that when you are applying the force, body is going to rotate like this. When this body is going to rotate like this, so this point of this body tend to move towards right direction. So since this tend to move towards right direction, so this surface will give the friction towards the left direction. Am I right? So this is a friction absorbed because of the application of the force F3. Am I right? So to me, if I see the option, when F3 is applied, the center of mass will move to the right. But I have seen in this diagram, I am having 2 forces right now which I am focusing on. One is the applied force upward, another is the friction in the horizontal direction. There is no other force in horizontal direction other than friction which is acting towards left. So it will definitely move towards the left side. No doubt about beta. Normal action is also happening, mg is also happening, but these all 3 forces are acting in the vertical direction. For horizontal motion, we must be having some horizontal force. So here friction is playing that role, and that friction is acting towards left side. So your option for like for the force 3, your answer must be like F3 is applied to the center of mass will be moved to the right. No, because friction was acting towards left side. So this is not the option, right option for F3. Let me hold on for F2. Why I will hold on to F2? Because nothing is mentioned about the angle. How the angle is happening, am I right? Because if you change the angle, if you change the orientation, then F2 is definitely going to play the role in such a way that it may roll down to the left, to the right. So F2 specifically, if you it is not like if you apply at any angle, then it can happen. Am I right? To the right or to the left? No, because you have seen F2 is just a part for extreme horizontal force and for extreme the upward force. Am I right? So F2 is just a part of it. Either it may go to this scenario or it may go to this scenario. So F2 is not showing any specific motion, whether body is going to move to the left or the right, because it should be drawn for a specific case. I think idea is very clear. Now let me focus on F1. Let me focus on F1 now. See there. Let me focus on F1. See, you can see this. This is what we have drawn, and we have applied beta force F1. And this is there. Now listen to this thing very carefully. When you are applying this force here, what is going to happen? You know, when you have applied the force, this body is going to rotate. When this body is going to rotate, this body is going to move towards right side. You can think any way you want to. Am I right? Because that is the best part of rolling motion. If you consider, sir, if we am applying the force in this direction, this body will rotate like this. It doesn't make any difference. But the point of difference is what? This point is going to move in this direction. So since this is a rough surface, so friction will definitely act in the backward direction. But I can see in this diagram, rightward force for sure is there. Rightward force for sure is there. Irrespective, friction is acting in the backward or in this direction. Am I right? But horizontal applied force is also there. So it means when you write the translatory equations, body is definitely going to move towards the right, because I am having a F1 as the applied force which is acting towards right side. So option for this question, yo-yo, is what? F1 is applied to the center of mass, will shift to the right. Why it is shifting to the right? Because in this scenario, F1 is acting in the right side direction. Friction is acting left side. Even if friction acts right, it doesn't make any difference, because I need to have some force in the rightward direction so that it should dominate over that and it should move in this direction. But here in this case, friction was acting towards left side. So applied force for F3, because we were not looking at F1 and F3, F3 was acting vertically up. Friction was the only force which was acting towards the left side. So that's why 100% sure this, in this state, this yo-yo machine will definitely move towards the left side. So this is the answer for it. I hope you have enjoyed this question, and it is a very, very simple question with full proof of mechanics and rolling motion. One thing you may note, what is that? When you solve any question of rolling motion, beta, friction is not required for us. It may have any direction you want to choose on the surface, but when you will get your final answer, either it will be a positive answer or it will be a negative answer. So there is no no question mark for us that which direction should I opt for the friction. I think you are getting my point. If I am getting a positive friction final answer, the direction I opted is the right. If I got negative value of the friction, I will say the option I consider is not right, it is to the left. That's it. Not more than that. So never get stuck when you opt, when you choose some parameters by your choice. I think the idea is very clear to you. Now, next question. Move on to next question. See, it's a very nice question. A projectile of mass 3m, am I right? It explodes at the highest point. When it breaks at the highest point, what happens? See, what happens? 3 equal parts it broke. Am I right? 3 equal parts it broke. One of the part has retraced the path. One of the path retraces the path. One of the fragment retraces the path. Other just get down. And how far that third particle should move, so that what is the value of that part, that is what we have to look. Am I right? Distance of the third part from the point of projection, where it will finally land on the ground. This is the point which we will discuss. I think idea is very clear. What is given? Projectile is thrown at highest point, broke. One of the fragment is retracing the path. Other fragment is just get dropped. And this fragment for which we have to calculate, it is moving in this direction. Am I right? So now, what is the point? So I just want to tell you, you just take a screenshot of it. If you are doing it in that way, it will be very fruitful for you to now see. So let me solve this question. How to solve this question? I will be drawing like this, and this I will draw x-axis, y-axis, body is thrown at the highest point. We are expecting the 3 fragments. One of the fragment is going to retrace the path. Am I right? One of the fragment is going to fall down, and the third fragment is going to move in this way, somewhere here. Somewhere here. This is the third fragment. So we got 3 fragments here, which we have discussed here. We got the 3 fragments here. Am I right? We got the 3 fragments here. 1 fragment here, other fragment here, other fragment here. And question asked is, what is this value? They asked. Am I right? Now just want to make you give you one very simple explanation to it. It is like explosion has happened to the highest point. If explosion has happened to the highest point, its center of mass will fall at where it was supposed to fall. Because internal forces are playing the role, center of mass is not going to be shifted, and it was given, if it didn't exploded, then it could have reached to 100 meter from here. It could have reached to what, beta? 100 meter from here. Am I right? Now let's solve this question. See. So it is very simple, beta. Because I am taking this as origin. So what is the center of mass formula for the coordinates? M1, x1 plus what, beta? M2, x2 plus what, beta? M3, x3 by sum of the masses. M1, M2, M3. Am I right? Now see, what is the value of M1? I called M1. So M1 has reached to this point. So its x coordinate become what? 0. What is the value of M2? M2 has just dropped down. And what is because this total distance, because this total distance is 100, so this must be what, beta? 50, because this is x3 which we have to calculate. Am I right? And M2 is what? M2 is M only. And what is the distance of the second part? It is 50, because total was 100, this was 50, and this is 50, plus M3 as M only, and x3 I am to calculate upon 3. And where does the center of mass lie from the origin? It is at 100 position. Am I right? So I left it to you. This M get cancelled. So we are getting 300 is equal to 50 plus x3. So I think we are getting x3 as what? 150. Can you see? 300, sorry beta. This is 300 minus 50 is what? 250. So this answer comes out to be 250. C option is there. I hope you have understood this idea now. It's very simple thing. Very simple thing. So this was our second question. Very simple. Explosion is going to happen. Got to 3 fragments. 3 fragments, how to tackle? Wherever they are landing, mark them. What is very, very important? Internal disturbance has caused this explosion. So center of mass is not going to get affected. What I mean, if it was projected from there and was to land at 100 meter, still when 3 fragments have reached these locations, am I right? 1, 2, 3. These locations, when you take their center of mass, it will again come out to be at 100. I think idea is very clear. Very simple idea. Very simple idea. Yes. So let's move on to next point. Third question. It's very amazing question which is related to the collisions. So I want you should understand this very well. What is that? See, the question is what? A mass of mass m which is moving with the velocity v, it collides inelastically with another identical mass m. And after the collision, the first mass moves with the v by root 3 in a direction perpendicular to the initial direction. Am I right? And then we say, beta, find the speed of the second mass after the collision. Find the speed of the second mass after the collision. So just mentioning this question again, a mass is there which was moving. A particle identical mass was placed there. When they collided, first mass has moved in this direction and another mass has moved in some direction. We have to conserve the momentum only, because in the question it is already said it is inelastic collision. So the only thing which I will focus on is to conserve the momentum only. Okay. And what is the momentum? Momentum is a vector quantity and we can conserve that momentum in a specific direction. So what are they directions? Let's focus on it. See, this was the question. This was the mass m. It was moving with the speed v. This was at rest and initial velocity was what? 0. When they collided, let me call this as A body, this as B body, this as A body, this as B body. So A body has moved in this direction and the B body has moved in this direction. Simple, sorry. B body has moved in this direction. So I can't be sure that it will move in this direction. So let me draw that it will move in this direction. Am I right? Why? Because if I draw it, then we have specified it that it is moving in this direction. So let me choose a random direction. Okay. So this is there. This is there. So this velocity is like, VB. This velocity is nothing like but what? VA. And this angle you call phi. This angle you call phi. So what is the value of VB here component? VB cos phi. What is the angle here? It is VB sin phi. So if I will solve this question right now, so let me call this as x direction, this as a y direction. So I will conserve the momentum. Let me conserve the momentum first along x-axis, another along what y-axis. First is along x-axis, another is along y-axis. So what is the initial momentum along x-axis? It is m into v. What is the initial momentum of the body B? It is 0. So I am not writing. What is the final momentum? Because A has moved in this direction. So there is no component of momentum of A along x. So it will be 0 only. Only the component of the momentum of the B is there, which is m into VB cos phi. M into VB cos phi. What is the initial momentum along the y direction before collision? It was because they were moving in this direction. This was moving in this direction. This was at rest. So it was not having initial linear momentum along the y-axis. After that, collision has happened. So what has happened? A body has moved in this direction with a speed. It is given as v by root 3. It is given. It has moved in the perpendicular direction with a speed what? V by root 3. With a speed what? V by root 3. You can see this V by root 3 it has moved. So I can write VB sin phi is acting in this direction. So I am writing upward direction as positive. So this I am getting MVA minus MVB sin phi. Since I said MVA is given as V by root 3, let me rearrange this stuff also. So I am getting VA is equal to what? VB sin phi. Am I right? This M get cancelled. This M get cancelled. So if I will add, what is V here? VB cos phi. Am I right? And what is the value of VA here? VA is given as V by root 3. So let me write V by root 3. Let me write V by root 3. So it is V by root 3 and it is equal to what? VB sin phi. And if you square and add these equations, you do squaring and adding, So if you do squaring and adding, should I write here? Yes. Let me write squaring and adding. So what we are getting? V square plus V square by 3 is equal to VB square bracket cos square phi plus sin square phi, which is what? 1. So I am not writing. So what I am getting for VB square over? I am getting VB square is equal to 4 V square by 3 and VB we are getting 2V by root 3 as my answer. I think idea is very clear to everyone. Now. Okay. So your answer becomes 2V by root 3 as your answer for this question. So this was the concept. There it is V. Okay. 2V by root 3. So this is the option for this question number 3. Now let's move on to next point. What is that? Very simple. Next question. See. In a vernier calipers, there are 10 divisions with a 9 scale division. So I just want that you must be aware of this, that 10 vernier scale divisions is equal to 9 main scale divisions. 9 main scale divisions. Am I right? Just want to tell you one thing. When I am writing the question, solving the question for you, my advice, when you are watching this video, you must write so that you can understand this question very well and very fast. Am I right? What is very, very important? That you must be knowing why these steps are written. So that's why I am saying. So 10 vernier scale divisions is equal to what? 9 main scale divisions. Am I right? And the least count is given as 0.1 centimeter. Sometimes students get confused, sir, least count is given 0.1. Am I right? But the point is what, bete, when the main scale is given to you, its least count means the division which you can see on the main scale. Am I right? I'll be showing you the diagram on the very next page. So what is one vernier scale division? It is 9 by 10 main scale division. Then you say, what is the least count? Then you will say it is 1 main scale division minus 1 vernier scale division. So when you put 1 main scale division minus 1 9 by 10 main scale division. So we are getting 1 by 10 main scale division. And what is the value of main scale division to you? It is given as 0.1. You can see main scale division is given as 0.1. So it is getting 0.1. 1 by 10 was 0.1 multiplied by 0.1. So we are getting 0.01. So that is the least count. Am I right? So I got least count as 0.01 centimeter. Now let's answer this question now. If in the measurement of inner diameter of cylinder we are calculating, the zero of vernier scale lies between, it is written there 1.3, okay, that is 1.3 and 1.4 beta, okay. So there it is written as 1.3 and at this side it is written as 1.4, okay. So it is lying between, 0 is lying between 1.3 and 1.4. So he said, second point, he said, second division is also coinciding. Second division is also coinciding. So that was the given question. So let's solve this question, how it will be. See, so I have used some diagram, I have taken some diagram. So just for your reference, he said in the question that this is, the reading is coinciding between 1.3 and 1.4, 0 of vernier scale, because this is a vernier scale. This is a main scale. Am I right? This is a main scale, this is a vernier scale, am I right? So 0 of the vernier scale is lying between 1.3 and 1.4. I have written there 1.3 and 1.4. This has 1.3, this has 1.4. So 0 is lying between them, am I right? And in the question it was also given the second division of vernier scale, because this is counted as 0, 1, 2. Second division of vernier scale is coinciding with the main scale, am I right? So we know how to write the main scale reading. We know how to write the main scale reading. We write the reading. If I just write the word reading, so how to write the reading, beta? You are aware of how to write the reading? Reading. How to write the reading? Say it was the main scale reading plus least count into the division which is coinciding. Am I right? So what is the main scale reading we are expecting? Because it is lying between 1.3 and 1.4. So it must be 1.3 because smaller value we opt. Am I right? Plus, what is the value of least count? Least count we just determined it. How much it was? 0.01. What was the number division which is coinciding? Because n here is what? The number of the vernier scale division which is coinciding with the main scale. So I said it was 2. It was 2, 0, 1, 2. So this was coinciding. Am I right? So this was there. So what I am getting my answer? 1.3 plus 0.02. So I am getting 1.32 centimeter as my answer. So this is the answer. C option is our option. Done. I think idea is very clear. Very simple thing. Am I right? Now, next point. A stone of mass 1 kg is tied with a string and it is wheeled in a circle of radius 1 meter. And if tension at the highest point is 14. Highest point tension. What is the velocity at the lowest point? So it is again a simple thing. See, you draw a circle. Then at this point, at highest point, the tension is given as TH, whose value is given to us as 14 Newton. But the time it descends to the lowest point, so it's having some velocity as VL, which we are supposed to calculate. So this is the tension at the lowest point and mg is acting in the downward direction. So what is the very shortcut way? Because this is the tension at highest point. What is the very shortcut way? In a vertical circular motion, tension between lowest and the highest point is 14. Tension between the lowest and the highest point is what? Is what? The 14. So tension at lowest point can be written as, sorry beta. tension between the lowest and highest point is what? 60 mg. So what is the tension at lowest point? It is tension at highest point plus what? 6 mg. So now listen, what is the tension at highest point? It is given as 14. So I'll be writing 14. Mass is given as 1 kg. G is 10. So this become what? 60. So TL here become tension at lowest point become what? 74. Am I right? If you add G is 10, 60 and this 14 is 74. That's it. And next point it says what is the velocity at lowest point, and you can see this diagram that tension at lowest point minus mg is equal to what? mv square by r. mv square by r. I think idea is very clear. I think idea is very clear. So what is the value of tension at lowest point? It is 74. Tension at lowest point is what? 74. M, mass is what? 1. G is what? 10. So this become minus 10. Mass is 1. Radius is 1. This become V square. So we are getting B as square root of 64, which is what? 8 meter per second. 8 meter per second. That is the answer to this question. Yes? So this is the answer to this question, which is very, very simple for this question. Am I right? The best part of this is what? The tension between the lowest and the highest point difference is always 6 mg, which can be solved very quickly. Now, next point. Now, this is the question which is based on the dimension. So, I just want to assure you about it that you must be knowing the dimension when you are writing the score exam. You may find dimensions question which are basically very easy. So, don't forget to understand the dimensions, or I can say cram the dimensions. Am I right? No, listen. Just for your sake of convenience, I have opted this question so that you will be having some multiple ideas from this question. I want to tell you power. We use a word power. Am I right? Because in terms of potential difference, current, permittivity, permeability, speed, dimensionally correct equations are. So we have to see this. I just want to tell you power is like force into velocity, and here if I write, because when you will do this class 12th, you will be knowing these formulas, every formula. Am I right? So right now it is like BIL as a magnetic force into velocity, and their velocity we are having is basically C. We are having this velocity as what? C. Am I right? This is the C. This is the first point. Am I right? And also there is Ampere circuital law where you can write B into L is basically mu naught I. B into L is basically what? Mu naught I. I hope you have understood this idea. This is Ampere circuital law. I have just written the format because dimensions we are dealing, not writing the full equation. Yes. Hello, Devi Prasad. How are you? How's preparation going on? Okay, let's solve this question now. So that is the Ampere circuital law, right? And this is B into L, which is what? Mu naught I is the wording for us. And what we are saying, beta, B into L can also be represented as mu naught I. So this becomes mu naught I square C. Mu naught I square C. So what I mean that you must be knowing these formulas, then you can calculate all these relations with that too. Am I right? So I am leaving this question to you as an exercise because I have given you one idea. Power is force into velocity. Force is BIL as a magnetic force. Since I have seen mu naught is happening with us, so mu naught will come when you write BIL into C, and B into L is Ampere circuital law, which is mu naught I. Put the stuff there. You will be getting the relevant answers. So my advice, you should solve this question as an exercise for you, which is there. Am I right? Yes. Beta, simple. I want that you should score the score exam, and just B will put you on the very first text. Okay. Done? Yes. Yes. Nice. Okay. So let's focus on the studies. Am I right? Because someone who how to performs, they want their name, they want their space in there. So we will definitely give you. Just wait for it and come up. Okay. Enroll yourself for this. Now, see, So I think idea is very clear. So I have given you this idea because I intentionally use these formulas so that when you are writing the score exam, you must be knowing some of the formulas so that you don't skip your scholarship, which is very, very important. Am I right? Yes. So this point is there. So we are having the same point for the option number C. So you may mark this option for you. I am leaving this question of dimensions for you as an exercise. Just giving this idea that you just try out this question with power, force into velocity. Force here is BIL, velocity here is C, and B into L, Ampere's circuital law is used, which is termed as mu naught I. Use this and you will be getting the result too. Okay. Now let's move on to next point. Question number 7. It's a nice question. Like, what is that? He said the force acting on a body varies with the time as shown below. If the final momentum of the body is P, then time taken by the body to retain its momentum again P. Because whenever force act, whenever we are having the force which is acting, what happens? Momentum changes. What happens? Momentum changes whenever the force is happening. So what do we say? We say what time it will take so that it will get back to the same momentum again. At t0, what was the momentum P? After time, what time the momentum it should be same. Now listen this thing. Listen. Here, for this journey of the time 4 seconds, for this journey, for the time for 4 seconds, this is a force, this is a time. So we are getting our impulse. How much? We are getting half. Base is 4. Height is 1. So we are getting this answer as 2. Am I right? 1 and 2. That's it. Am I right? This as 2. And after that, he said, what should be the value? What should be the value so that it can get back to the same momentum again? So that's why the graph, they have shown this graph to the negative force. Am I right? So that it can nullify this impulse, because final momentum is basically initial momentum plus impulse. So we are adding impulse to it. So final momentum is becoming Pi plus 2. But if I add minus 2 to it, it will again become what? Pi. Am I right? Initial momentum. So this is what we have to solve. So what we will do, beta, here, you just mark this point as T, this as 4. Am I right? This as T, this as 4, and we are getting somehow this area. So I want this area to be 2 only. Am I right? And how should I solve? Now listen this thing very carefully. This is there. This is there. I am focusing on this only. Okay. 4. And this is what? This is T. Am I right? This is T. And I am focusing on this area only. Am I right? Now listen this thing very carefully. See. If you see the diagram here, it was 2. It was 2. It was 4. So what is the value? What is the slope for this? If I just write the slope word, am I right? It is like tan theta, which is like what? 1 by 2, because this one is 1, this one is 1, this one is what? 4 minus 2 is 2. So we are getting tan theta as 1 minus 1 by 2. Negative slope is there, no, because it is happening in this direction. Am I right? So if I ask you, what is the value for that value to be force to be written, that is F. Am I right? That is F, because it is the plot for F. Am I right? So if we are writing the slope, so how much this value should be? This value. This value. So then you are writing this angle as also again theta. So what is the value of tan theta? You did tan theta is, just forget, you may write 1 by 2 right now, just for the sake of convenience. Am I right? So tan theta we are writing what? 1 by 2. This tan theta 1 by 2 is equal to what? This is equal to what? This side, which is this side by this side. So this side is what? Force F. What is this side now? It is T minus 4. So you are getting the force. How much? How much? T minus 4 by 2. Now there comes the answer finally. because I want this momentum to be 2. This momentum to be 2, which is equal to what? This triangle which I have formed, which is half force as F, and value of F is what? T minus 4 by 2 into this length. What is this length? T minus 4. So what we are getting? 2 2s are 4, 2s are 8. This become 8 is equal to what beta? T minus 4 square. Take the square root. You are getting 2 root 2 is equal to what? T minus 4. So we are getting T is equal to what beta? 4 plus 2 root 2 as our answer. So I hope you have understood this idea of solving this question. Am I right? Yes. So T we got 4 plus 2 root 2. Very simple thing. In the question they said what? It should be having the same initial momentum. It should be having the same initial momentum. They said. Am I right? Final momentum they want same. So this has happened like that. So this was the positive impulse. We want negative impulse. So magnitude of negative impulse equal to positive impulse. So that's why in the next question I took that 2 as a negative value. So how I have to find this area, because I was knowing this as T, this as 4, this become T minus 4. But this become F. F we are to find. So what is the value of F? Since it is a straight line, it's a straight line. So in the straight line, we are having the slope as F by this value as T minus 4. And since this is a straight line, so I have calculated its slope as what? 1 by 2 with the negative sign. Since it is moving towards the negative F direction, so I will be putting negative F there. No doubt about it. But we are talking about the magnitude only. Am I right? If you have to put negative sign here, so then you must be putting negative here also, because it is a negative area. So otherwise, right now we are focusing on the magnitude only. Am I right? So I took F T minus 4 by 2. So what is the impulse now? Impulse I is equal to what? Beta half force into time. Force is this, time is T minus 4. So we got that value. T is equal to what beta? 4 plus 2 root 2 as our answer. This is there. So I hope you have understood this question very well, and I want you should crack this time the test. It's very, very important. Done? Now, next question there comes for us, and what is that question beta? See. Moment of inertia, very simple question. Moment of inertia of the disk about its own axis is I. Moment of inertia about the tangential axis in its plane is how much? Tangential axis. So this is the disk. Moment of inertia about this center, you know, it is out of the plane, which is half mr square, which is out of the plane. Am I right? And moment of inertia about the tangential axis. So if you are drawing, because this was the out of plane, and if you are drawing for the tangential axis, this axis, so you must be knowing this dimension, this formula, and this is nothing but 1 by 4 mr square. If it is 1 by 4 mr square, this is what? R radius. So what is the moment of inertia about this? You will call it as I naught. You call it as I naught, and I naught is equal to what? 1 by 4 mr square plus mr square, which comes out to be 5 by 4 mr square. But in the question he said I is half mr square. I is what? Half mr square. So your I naught become 5 by 2 into half mr square, and half mr square is I. So this become 5I by 2 as our answer. So that is the answer for this question. Moment of inertia of the disk about its own axis is I. How to calculate in terms of I. I think idea is very clear to everyone, but okay. Now let's move on to next question. This figure shows an isosceles triangle plate of mass m and base L. Right? The apex angle here is 90 degree, and he said that the base, this base is parallel to the x-axis. This base is parallel to the x-axis. Am I right? Then he said what is the moment of inertia about the base? So very simple, because this length is given as L. This is the middle point, so this will be L by 2. Since this is the isosceles triangle, this is 90, 45, 45. If this is 45, this is also what? L by 2. And about the base, you know the moment of inertia is written as what beta? mh square by 6 for a triangle. And h here is nothing but what? h here is nothing but altitude, which is what? L by 2. So I'll be putting m by 6 into L by 2 square. So which comes out to be ml square by 24 as the answer to it. I think idea is very clear to everyone, buddy. Okay. So ml square by 24 is our answer to this question. That is question number 9. Yes. Now next. So I have solved there only. So just giving a one advice, you may take a element like this. So if you take a moment of inertia about this point, it will be 0. This distance, if you take y, so moment of inertia around this point will be di is equal to what? Mass of the element as dm, y as a separation, dm y square. Am I right? So just advise to you that take this as element and then solve by your own. It will be very fruitful for you, very fruitful. Okay. Now see next. Again, dimensions is coming. Speed v, acceleration is a, force is f. They are considered as fundamental units. What are the dimensions of Young's modulus? So, beta, Young's modulus is basically force by area. Force by area. Am I right? Force by area. So, we want that it should come up like that. So, my advice that when you are solving this question, y proportional to force raised to power a, velocity, that is force, speed is given b, and acceleration a raised to power c. You just solve this dimension, and force by area is nothing but m1 L minus 1 t minus 2 proportional to force m1 L1 t minus 2. Velocity is L1 t minus 1 raised to power b, and area is what, beta? L square raised to power c. So my advice to you is you should solve this question by your own by using the concept of dimensions. Okay, by using principle of what you call homogeneity, you can solve this question. Very simple question. Am I right? So I hope everyone is enjoying the session, and you must listen, you must write, you will understand each and everything. Am I right? Now see, Young's modulus, we have done that, and this is the way we can solve the question very quickly by using the concept of dimensions. Very easy, very easy. Am I right? Now see, next question. Next question says potential energy of a particle related to the x coordinate is x square minus 2x. So the particle will be in stable equilibrium at. So whenever you use this equilibrium, it means you are talking about the force, and force at that point is 0. Whenever you are writing the potential energy, it means you are talking about the conservative force, which is like a minus of du by dx. Am I right? So since equilibrium is asked, so this force must be what? 0. So I will be writing du by dx is equal to what, beta? D by dx of x square minus 2x, which comes out to be 2x minus 2, and they are equal to 0. So x we are getting 1. X we are getting what? 1 is the answer. I think idea is very clear, beta. Am I right? So this is the point for question number 11. Okay. Now listen, next wording. Now it's a very great question also. In the figure shown, a particle is released from position A on a smooth track. There is no loss of energy anywhere. Then question asked is, what is the normal reaction here? This is the question asked. Am I right? Question asked is, what is the normal reaction here? So normal reaction is asked here. Now let's solve this question now. How to solve? See. I will apply the conservation energy. So what is the total energy at this point? It is only, write down on your copy. It is only what? mgh. Am I right? And what is the total energy here? You call the velocity at this point is vb, and the height from the ground is 2h. So what is the energy at here? You can write, let me conserve the energy. So mgh is the energy at point A. At point A, mgh is energy because it was released, is equal to, what is the energy at B? What is the energy at B? It is half m vb square plus what? mg into what? 2h. And sorry beta, it was 3h height. Okay, it was 3h. So this must be 3h. So when you solve this idea, they get cancelled. So this is 3GH minus what beta? 2GH is equal to VB square by 2. So there you are getting VB square as 2GH. Am I right? So there comes our final answer. How to calculate the normal action now? How to calculate the normal action now? You can see at this point, normal action is also acting down, mg is also acting down, and this is body is moving with the speed vb. Am I right? So what we can write? N plus mg is equal to what? M vb square by radius. Radius is what? H. So we have to calculate normal action at B point. Normal action at B point. So it is equal to what? M by H. What is the value of VB square? You just calculated. It is 2GH. Mg goes to this side as mg. H get cancelled. So 2mg minus mg is what? Mg. So this is the normal action at the point B. I hope you have understood this idea. It is also very, very simple thing. Am I right? Idea is very clear. Now, next point there comes. It's also a very great question. A closed circular tube whose radius average is 15 centimeter, whose inner walls are rough and is kept in a vertical plane. You know, it's very important. Okay, beta, vertical plane. So we just release. You have given this velocity as 22, and it is made to fall, and it has made some oscillation, some like that, or somewhere it goes like that, and finally it settles at the bottom. Finally, it settles at the bottom. Am I right? So how to solve this question? He said the same thing. Speed was released when introduced top after completing 5 oscillations. The block has stopped at the bottom. So what is the work done by the tube on the block? So basically he is talking about the friction. Basically he is talking about the friction. Now listen this thing very carefully. How to solve? So I will be using, you know what, beta? Work energy principle. What is work energy principle? Change in kinetic energy is equal to the net work done. Now, what is the final kinetic energy for it? Because it gets stopped. So, final kinetic energy gets 0 minus half mass is m. Mass is m. It was given a velocity 22 square is equal to work done by the net forces. So, forces which are acting, you know, it must be mg, which is in the downward direction, and it must be a friction which is along the track. So what we are focusing on right now, because mg is acting and it's given as its average radius. So average radius means from center of this, and when body gets settled down to center to this. Am I right? Let me draw there. Means average radius means from center of here to the center of here. That's it. Am I right? Because gravity is doing the work and we see the center of the gravity. Am I right? So center of gravity has descended how much? 30 centimeter, and it is doing a positive work. Am I right? But body is moving like this, then friction is acting in the opposite direction. Friction is acting in the opposite direction. So what we are writing, that work done by the mg, am I right, beta? And work done by the friction we are focusing on. So what is the value? Work done by the friction stays there only. So minus half mass as m, 22 square minus work done by mg. Mg will be mg into 30 centimeter, because this is given as average is given as 30 centimeter. So it should be multiplied by in SI unit as 3 joule, 0.3. So there you write the work done by the friction. So I leave this point to you because its mass is given to you as a 1 kg. Am I right? So you must be putting that mass as 1 and put that value, you will be getting the required result. Am I right? I think idea is very clear. It comes out to minus 24.5. Am I right? So this is the point which you must solve. I think you can solve now, beta. Okay. Let me make more simple. Minus m as 1, g as 10 into what? 0.3. What is 22? What is 22 square? What is 22 square? You write divided by 2. Then you will be getting that result, and its answer comes out to be 245 with the work done by the friction. Today I will tell you some very good trick to solve the question, okay? To solve the calculations. I will tell you a bit later. Now, question number 14. 3 rods are given Each rod length is L, mass is M, they are placed along the 3 axes. Am I right? Like this axis, whenever we draw, it does not mean in this, it is like out of, okay. You mark this as X, you mark this as Y, you mark this as Z, okay. And such a way that origin and moment of inertia about Z axis. So we have placed the rods, one along Z, other along Y, and another along Z. You can see, if you are writing moment of inertia about Z axis, so for the rod is placed along the axis, like this was the axis, if say rod is placed there only, so its moment of inertia about that axis always become 0. It always comes into play when it is perpendicular, am I right? So Iz will be 0, and moment of inertia the rod X, because they were made to rotate about this point, about Z axis, where X axis and Y axis are just touching their perpendiculars. So this is something like a rod with a one end, and its moment of inertia at this point is what, ml square by 3, and so as for the Y axis, and Iy and Ix both are what, equal. So this must be Ix and Iy must be equal to ml square by 3. So this becomes what, 2 ml square by 3 as our answer to this question. So I hope you have understood these ideas, how we have tackled moment of inertia concept. I think idea is very clear, very simple. Very simple approach, very simple approach. Done? Now see this question. This question is also a very nice question. So I will be giving you more shortcut in the sense, more tips to solve this type of questions very quickly. See, question was given, a block was placed, it was made to move like this, and there it found some some support like that. Then when it hit it, then it toppled like that. Am I right? Initially it was like this. Now this end is lying there. Am I right? So this is our point of concern. And the best part is you must memorize. It is the length is given as 2a. Length is given as 2a. That is given to you. Okay. Now listen this thing very carefully. See, since no external forces are happening there, so I can conserve the momentum first. So mass is m, v naught. Since it is 2a, so this also will be 2a. And center of mass is here only. So we are conserving the momentum about this point, am I right, about this axis. So when it is going to hit, so what is the initial momentum? mv naught into a. Because we know nowadays L is called mvr, something like this, am I right? Is equal to what? When it hit, it gets flipped like that. So it has rotated about this edge, am I right? The cube, when it got to this position, it is flipped like that, am I right? So you can consider that it has flipped in this direction. So what is the moment of inertia? If you consider this is a square plate, this is a square plate. So what is the moment of inertia about this square plate? You know, it is m, side is what? 2a square by 6, because it was like ml square by 12 into a square plus b square. B is also a square, so this becomes ml square by that value. M by 12, L square plus B square, and L and B are equal. So it becomes 2 ml square by 12, means ml square by 6. Here length which was given to us for this cube was 2, or you can say for the square plate it was 2. So it is written like this. And what is about this line? This line is square root of what, 2a. So this mass is m, and this is like what? Root 2a whole square. Root 2a whole square. So this is the moment of inertia about this point. I am calling it as P point. Am I right? So this is the moment of inertia. So what is the value of IP here we are getting? How much we are getting now? Can you answer? It is m. This is become 4 a square by what? 6 plus m into root 2a square. So what we are getting for IP now? Can you answer this wording now? 2a square is 4, and we are getting like 2 by 3 is getting 8 ma square by 3 as what? The moment of inertia. So I can write 8 ma square by 3 as moment of inertia, and it has rotated with omega. It has rotated with omega because initially it was having direct value. Am I right? At this point when it toppled, it is having omega at this instant. because it has just, sorry beta, I mean, just wait. What I mean that when it has reached here, it was just having the translational velocity. The time it gets struck, immediately it got omega, immediately after that, not at this position, because at this point it just reaches. At this position it just reaches. It was like that, it is coming, hit, and the time it start toppling, so it means what has happened at the time of toppling? We are writing that omega has happened at that instant. Am I right? Just when it is about to topple. So when you are writing this wording, what we are getting for omega? 3 V naught by 8A as omega. Am I right? 3 V naught by 8A as what? Omega. Am I right? So what was the question asked? That what should be the value of V naught? What should be the value of V naught? Means we have to find this value of V naught. Am I right? So we have taken omega as the value. So next, what should I do? Because when it has hit it like this, then it has attained omega and it just reaches to this point. Am I right? Just reaches to this point. I may say there the velocity gets 0, because I said hit, rotated, just reach to this point like that. So what is the final answer? I can write the energy. So when it was moving, when it was about to rotate, what energy it was having? It was having half I as a moment of inertia into omega square, this omega, plus since when it was about to lift, it was having h height as A, and it was having also the potential energy. How much? mgA. Am I right? So I have written the total energy which this body was possessing before when it hit this support, okay, and after that, when it just reaches, so it was having only the potential energy. And what is this value for it, by the way? It is root 2A. So this becomes mg into what beta? Root 2A. So I am leaving this as an exercise to you, because IP is what? 8 ma square by 3 here. Omega you found, put that all that stuff, put the value of omega, then you will be getting V naught square. There you get root 2A, mg goes to this side, this becomes mg root 2 minus 1, something like this. Am I right? So you can see the option root 2 minus 1 you are finding. Am I right? And rest A will be the option. If you solve by your own, you will be getting that result. The main concern was how to get that value as a root 2 minus 1, how it is happening, because normally students thinks like that. So that is my chance, so that I can tell you that how this root 2 minus 1 is coming. So I told you that when the block has moved like that, it just hit it, then started toppling. At that point it just reaches. Am I right? So what we are focusing on, initially the angular momentum I wrote, and from there I calculated just omega. And after omega, I found when it was just about to lift, it was having rotational kinetic energy as well as it was having the potential energy. When it just reaches to this height, now its potential energy become what? mg into what beta? Root 2A. So you just solve this question by your own, you will be getting that result very quickly and very nicely. I hope you have understood these ideas. Am I audible to everyone? Yes? Okay. Now, next point. Question number 16 we will solve now. What is question number 16? See, he said the potential energy of 1 kg of particle moving along x-axis is given by this formula. Am I right? So let me write the potential energy. What is U? X raised to power 4 by 4 minus x square by 2. And it is given the total mechanical energy is 2 joule. Total mechanical energy. Total mechanical energy means E is given as 2 joule, which is sum of kinetic and what beta? Potential. He said, what is the maximum speed? And we do know maximum speed term is used when potential energy is always minimum, which always happen to be at the stable equilibrium position. Right now I can say it is equal to what? The stable equilibrium position. Now how to solve this idea? First I will calculate what is the value of du by dx. So what is the value of dy by dx? It will be x cube minus x is equal to what? 0, because we are writing negative with the force. So we are writing x is equal to what? X square is equal to x. So we are getting x is equal to, this is x cube and this x get cancelled. So we are getting x square is equal to plus minus 1, something like that. So what is the value of potential energy we are getting now? When x is equal to 1, you can put 1 by 4 minus 1 by 2. How much you are getting? 1 by 4, am I right? Because this is 1 by 4 minus 1 by 2 is 1 by minus 1 by 4. So this is the minimum potential energy. This is the minimum potential energy. So I'll be putting here only 2. 2 is equal to kinetic energy, because he said what is the velocity? Half. Mass is given as 1 kg. Velocity as v square. Potential energy is you calculated what? Minus 1 by 4. So what we are getting? 2 plus 1 by 4 is equal to what? Half v square. This become 9 by 4 v square by 2. 2 get cancelled, take the square root. Then 3 by root 2 is the answer to this question. So I hope you have understood this idea, this question, how we have solved. Am I right? What we have solved? Potential energy was given. Then mechanical energy was given. He said speed, find the maximum. Maximum speed, from there we concluded that potential energy should be minimum at that point. And that minimum means stable equilibrium we are talking about. How to calculate that value? How to calculate that value? We have done du by dx with that value x4 by 4 minus x square by 2. And we found that f is equal to minus du by dx is equal to that value, and we are getting x square as what? X as what? Plus minus 1. Am I right? X as what? Plus minus 1. So when we are getting x as a plus minus 1, then put the value of x is equal to 1 here. 1 by 4 minus 1 by 2, we are getting minus 1 by 4. So I am using this potential energy here in this expression. So there we are calculating that result. So I hope you have understood this idea, how this has worked for you to calculate this result. Am I right? Now let's move on to next question. Idea is very clear? Yes, idea is very clear, very simple, very easy. You have seen, though we are solving these questions, these are very simple, and this is the pattern of upcoming NEET exam. I tell you, the way they have asked in the previous, this will be the pattern. So guidance is very important, and above all, you should compete with the students with whom you people are studying, and score is a common platform for you, none other better than that. You should be there on 28th of September and 12th of October, which is very, very important. Don't miss out. Don't miss out. Now see, next wording. Now this was one of the very amazing question I found. It's a PYQ basically somewhere. So I thought of, because nothing is asked in it very differently, so I thought of I should discuss it with you, because what is given? I tell you, a rod was given which was pivoted at this point, and it was made to rotate like that, and that angle is what? Theta. So when it was pivoted at this point, so it was experiencing vertical and horizontal forces. Since in this question everything was given, so I thought of that I should discuss with my students who are appearing for the score. So I just want that you should be able to understand this question very quickly. Now you will see. There you pivoted a body, a rod, angle theta was happening, and it was rotating about the vertical shaft, right? So he said directly that the rate of change of angular momentum is ml square omega square sin theta cos theta by 12. So let me write ml square omega square sin theta cos theta by 12. I tell you why. Okay. He said this is a direct question. This is the direct format which you use. Am I right? I tell you. What is rate of change of angular momentum, beta? What is rate of change of angular momentum, beta? It is basically the torque. It is basically the torque. One thing. What is basically torque doing? Changing the angular momentum about the given axis of rotation. And in this question, he has already given you this value. So I am not drawing that result. Why that result has we got? Because this question has already given to us. Am I right? So why I have opted this question? You may find such very easy question in the NEET where they will give you direct values in there and you have to put the direct values by using the fundamentals. So I tell you what are the fundamentals. See, here it is ml square omega square sin theta cos theta by 12. That is happening. Done. And this is the center of mass. This is the center of the mass. So I will draw some diagram which is very, very fruitful and I will write the result. Now see how to. This is there. This angle is theta. This point is the basically what? Center of mass. It is rotating with what? Omega. This distance is what? L by 2. mg is acting in the downward direction. And if I sit here, no doubt it is describing a circle like that. Am I right? So experiencing the outward force which is ml square by 4 omega square. Am I right? Which is ml square by 4 omega square. Am I right? So just to write the outward force. So I'll tell you what does it mean. Am I right? Something like that. So outward force we are writing. Outward force we are writing. So that is basically the centrifugal force. That is basically the centrifugal force. Am I right? And this one is what beta? Omega. And at this point, one force is acting in the horizontal direction, which is given as FH. And this force is given as the vertical direction, which is given as FV. And he said what? About center of mass. This is a very important point. About center of mass. Am I right? Am I right? So this is given as the center of mass. Am I right? So what should we do for this question? That we are sitting here. So how many forces we are experiencing here when we are sitting here? We are experiencing the forces like centrifugal force, mg force, and this rod is experiencing FH and F vertical. Since this rod is there only in the translational motion, if I say, so it is having vertical motion as mg and horizontal motion as the centrifugal force, which is acting in the outward direction. I think idea is very clear. So when we are solving this question, this was the torque given, and this torque was equal to the torque due to all the forces. This 1, 2, 3, 4. Since we are sitting here, so line of action of centrifugal force and mg, they are not providing any torque. Who is providing torque? FH and FV. So torque by FH and torque by FV. And also it is given that it is pointing into the vapor. When you are saying it is pointing into the vapor, it means inward direction is taken as positive. It means inward direction is taken as positive. Am I right? So outward will be negative. So I tell you what is the fundamental. Then we will end up this question. See. So we are sitting here. When we are sitting here, So what is the direction of FH acting? FH is acting in this direction. Am I right? So this is the line of action of FH. This is the line of action of FH. So when line of action of FH is this, so this is the perpendicular distance. Am I right? This is the perpendicular. Torque is given as what? It is given as what? R cross F. R cross F. So this one is basically the direction of R. This one is basically direction of FH. So R cross FH. It is acting outward. It is acting what? Outward. Am I right? So, and after that, if you talk about FV, where does FV is acting? Where does the FV is acting? FV is acting in the outward direction. So this is a line of action of FV. This is a line of action of FV. This is what? The perpendicular distance, you call it as R. Am I right? So R is acting in this direction, FV is acting in this direction. So where does the R is acting? There. FV is acting there. So it is acting in the inward direction. So torque due to F will be taken as positive and torque due to FH will be taken as negative. So torque, what is the value of torque now? FH here this distance. This was what? L by 2. This was what? Theta. So this become what? L by 2 sine theta, and this become what? L by 2 cos theta. So when we are writing this for the horizontal, it should be negative. Horizontal force is Fh multiplied by L by 2 cos theta plus vertical force, hinge force. So it is like FB as FB, and what is the value in this direction? It is L by 2 sine theta. I hope you have understood this idea. I just want this as an exercise for you. Yes, thank you, beta. Thank you. Thank you. So I just want to give you this as an exercise, that just get the value of centrifugal force, then put the value here for centrifugal force, which is Fh. Fb is written as mg. Fb is written as what? Mg. You will put the stuff there, you will be getting that result. And what is that result for that part? Basically, it is B. I am just leaving this as an exercise for you, so that you should just work out what is the value of centrifugal force. Vertical force, I have told you, it was mg. Centrifugal force, you are sitting here, so you are experiencing the outward force. Am I right? How you write the outward force, that is important. If you write there, then you will be getting that result. I am leaving only this part as an exercise for you, because as I said in the discussion also, that you will be getting some assignments today, and that assignments are these minor points which you should focus on, which are very, very important. Now, next point. A tube will pump out 2400 kg of water per minute. Water is coming out of with the velocity this much. How much work is done if pump runs for 10 hours? So I can just tell you, very simple, the direct format is there, direct formula is there, that kinetic energy is what? It is, half mv square. That is the kinetic energy. Am I right? And kinetic energy per unit time is termed as what? The power. Am I right? So if you put all that values, half m by t is given as 2400. Velocity is given to you as 3 square. So you got power, and he said what is the work done? So work done is nothing but power into time. So you calculated half 2400 3 square multiplied by the time, and time was work for 10 hours. 10 hour means 10 hours 60 minutes 60 seconds. Solve this question, you will be getting that answer. Am I right? So this was the question for this MT02, question number 18. 19. It is also a very amazing question, question number 19. What does this question number 19 says? A particle is going, and a helical path and spiral path is given. Just want to tell you one thing very important, that here gravity is not playing any role. Just we are talking about the centripetal force. Am I right? So what is the point? A particle is going with a constant speed, which was given, uniform helical and spiral path. They are as shown. So what is happening in this case? What is happening in this case? Just want to tell you, when a body is going through the helical path, its distance from the axis always remains same, first point, and its value always remain v square by r. Am I right? So helical path, neither speed is changing because it is given to you question, neither the radius is changing. So acceleration v square by r remains same for all. Am I right? So when you are saying for the spiral path, since you see this arrow, beta, this arrow is going like this, going outside. Am I right? So when it is going outside, it is said speed was same, but r was getting increasing. R was increasing. So what was the value of centripetal acceleration? V square by r. If r is increasing in the spiral path, then acceleration is what? Decreasing. So that answer thus comes out to be, the magnitude of the acceleration is constant in case A and decreasing in case B. So that is the answer for this question. I think idea is very clear. Now, next question. A sphere of mass m is moving with a constant velocity u, hits another stationary sphere of the same mass. If he is the coefficient of restitution, find the ratio of the velocities before and after. Just want to tell you one very simple formula. V1 vector is given as m1 minus em2 by m1 plus m2 into u1 vector plus 1 plus e m2 u2 by m1 plus m2. Similarly, for v2, m1 m2 minus e m2 u2 by m1 plus m2 plus 1 plus e m1 u1 by m1 plus m2. I think idea is very clear. Idea is very clear. So this is the velocities, formulas for the velocities which is happening in the elastic collision. In the inelastic collision it is happening. Am I right? So since in the question what is said? Another stationary sphere of same mass but at rest. So if another body means u1 is basically u and u2 is what? 0 and masses are what bete? Equal. So I leave this as an exercise to you now. Am I right? v1, it will be like m minus, so what is the value of v1? It will be 1 minus e by 2 into u. Am I right? And because u2 was at rest, u2 was rest, and here it was at rest, we won't be using. So 1 plus e as v1 into what? U by 2. Take the ratio. Take the ratio, you will be getting your result, which is option number A, 1 minus e by 1 plus e as a result. So what we have written here is the expression for the velocities in the inelastic collision. And what are they? It is v1 is equal to m1 minus e m2 by m1 plus m2 into u1 plus 1 plus e m2 u2 by m1 plus m2, and v2 is equal to m2 minus e m2 u2 by m1 plus m2 plus 1 plus e m1 u1 by m1 plus m2. So this is the point which we are discussing right now. Now next point. Question number 21. Three identical rods, each of length L, they are joined to form a rigid triangle. The radius of gyration about an axis passing through the corner of the perpendicular. So it is like with what bit? This was given. So you may consider this as the corner. So for this, what is the moment of inertia? ml square by 3. This rod about this axis. For this rod about this axis is what? Again ml square by 3. And for this rod about this point it is ml square by 12, and this distance is what? Root 3 by 2 L. Am I right? So what is the total moment of inertia now about this point? O. I can write here is equal to ml square by 3. How much times? 2 times. Plus about this. How about this rod moment of inertia? About center of mass. Parallel axis theorem. ml square by 12 plus m into root 3 by 2L whole square. Am I right? You just solve this question, you will be getting the answer. So I want to leave this as an exercise for you, and this comes out to be some value. And since it is asked, what is the radius of gyration? So whatever moment of inertia you are getting for IO, put that value. Don't forget to write 3m, because mass of the system is 3m. We are using 3 rods. Am I right? So 3m into what bete? K square. And basically K is you asked. So whatever you found here divided by 3m as a square root. This is equal to what? K. Am I right? So that is a question which we are writing, just heading for. Am I right? This is question number 21. Question number 22, again the dimension is coming. Smile on your face because you know how to solve this question. So I am just writing for you new proportional to R as a radius raised to power A, density raised to power B, surface tension raised to power C. Just helping you with the dimensions. M0, L0, T minus 1, radius as L, density as M1, L minus 3, surface tension as M1, T minus 2 raised to power ABC. And I hope you can solve this question by your own for this part. Am I right? Question number 22. Idea is very clear. So it was a very simple, you can have seen, you have solved so many questions right now. Everyone is using only fundamental, nothing very difficult. But the level is very, very important, and it's very simple also. Okay. Now, next question. A stone was thrown upward with a velocity 50. Another stone is simultaneously thrown downwards from the same location with a velocity 50. Am I right? First stone is at highest point. What is the velocity of the second stone? So it's like this was the height. We have projected a body up and we have placed a body in the downward direction. Am I right? When it was projected up with a u, it reached to there, velocity gets 0, time is 0. There you calculate time t, and you know there velocity gets 0, u is happening, so v is equal to what? U plus at. What is the velocity here? 0. What is the value of u here? It was given as 50. What is the acceleration? Minus 10. Time is what? T. So t we got 5 seconds. So it took t 5 seconds to reach there, and in 5 seconds the second ball has reached somewhere here. So what is the velocity here? V is equal to u plus at. U is what? 50. Acceleration for this is now 10 into 5. So you are getting 100 meter per second as our answer to this question. So I think idea is very clear to everyone, but I think idea is very clear, and it's very, very simple approach to. Now next, 24. It is also a very easy question for the, what you call, to apply the fundamentals of the torque. So what is that question? See. Meter stick means length is 1 meter. It is balanced at the knife edge, which is whose center is at 5 centimeter from here. Then a coin was placed of 10 gram here, which was at a 12 centimeter mark. Beta 12 centimeter mark means this was 0. So there mark was 12. Total length is what? Total length is what from here to here? It is 50 centimeter, and up to there, how much it is? This is what? Because it was 5, so this becomes 45. Now this was 12, so this left with what? 33. I think idea is very clear. Idea is very clear, because this point is what? 50. This point is what? 12, because it is marked 0 here. So this is 12, this is 50, this was 5, so this we left with 33. So final answer comes, because at this point this mg will rotate this in this direction, and this 10 gram will rotate this in this direction. So what will the torque we can write? 10 gram is happening. So we must be writing that what is the mass of the metal stick, and we are finding in the gram. So it's very easy. I will be writing 10 g. He is writing 10 g. You can write 10 g. How far it is from there? 33 is equal to center of mass of this meter stick is lying here, whose mass is what? Mg, and distance from here it is what? 5. So g get cancelled, and 5 2's are there, and we are getting what? 66 as the answer. 2 3's are 6, 2 3's are 6, 66 as the answer to this question. So I hope you have understood this question, which was very, very simple. Very simple. Am I right? Idea is very clear to everyone. Score is very important. Very important. Don't miss out, because everyone who is there, who will see this session, previous sessions also, who will write the notes, will definitely crack score as well as NEET mechanics portion, because we focus more on these sessions, we focus on the mechanics. So I tried my level best for you all, beta, that you should understand each and every concept, whatever we have discussed, and wherever you are finding any difficulty, you just drop a message to us. We will definitely revert you back. Not to worry about that. Only worry, register and score your rank. Okay. Now, question number 25. It's also very amazing question. Very amazing question. Initially, the spring is a natural length. Now, both the blocks, they are at rest condition. Now, it is asked, what is the maximum extension you are expecting? And K is given as 20. So, I will be solving this question very quickly. Like what? First, I will calculate the value of the acceleration of center of mass. So, applied force is what? 1. Total mass of the system is what? 1 by 2 plus 1. So, we are getting 2 by 3. That is the value of the acceleration of the center of mass. Am I right? So after that, after center of mass acceleration, I will consider myself as if I am sitting at the center of mass. Am I right? So this is just a question which is very basic and very fundamental. I do want that you should understand. I am sitting somewhere here in the center of mass. What I found when I will sit here, then what I found that system is, because center of mass is having the acceleration here. So this block will be having the pseudo force in this direction, which is mass is 1 by 2, which is AC. So let me write it as half AC, experiencing pseudo force in this direction, and this is also because this is accelerating in this direction. So half AC, that is AC in this direction. Am I right? That is a force, because its mass was 1 kg. Its mass was what, beta? Its mass was what? 1 kg. Yes. Now, how to solve this question? Ritvik, it is basically for class 11th, beta. But if you are writing NEET this year, like next year, then if you solve these questions with you, then mechanics will be very good for you. Ritvik, okay? Yes, Swarga, thank you. Vishnu, thank you. Whatever you have written, we hadn't read, so best of luck for that. Okay? And for the score, it is very, very important. Now, see, this was the center of mass, which was moving in this direction with an acceleration of 2 by 3. Since I sit there as an observer, so I saw that this mass is also experiencing pseudo force in the backward direction, whose mass is half kg, acceleration is AC, so it will become half AC. And this is also experiencing pseudo force in this direction, this become 1 as a mass, AC as acceleration. But if I draw the diagram, don't forget 1 Newton is also acting. Now let's solve the question. This was there. This was also there. Am I right? This was also there. Am I right? And we sat here and we found pseudo force is acting and also the applied force is acting. Pseudo force is also acting. Am I right? Pseudo force is also acting. So what happens there? Because when pseudo force has acted and the applied force has acted, we saw that the maximum extension we have seen in the spring. The maximum extension we have seen in the spring. Then what happened to that spring? Let me consider this side has moved a distance x1. Let me consider this side has moved a distance, what beta? It is x2. Am I right? So let's solve this question now. See how much force we are experiencing now for this, because 1 Newton was acting here and half AC was acting backward. What was the value of AC? What was the value of AC? It was 2 by 3. So this become 1 by 2, 2 by 3, 2 cancelled. So I am getting 1 minus 1 by 3. We are getting what? 2 by 3 Newton force in this direction. And how about this? AC was 2 by 3. So it is experiencing 2 by 3 Newton force in this direction. Now see the best part. When we are sitting in the center of mass frame, we can see both the blocks, they are experiencing the force in this direction as the same value, whose answer is what? 2 by 3 and what beta? 2 by 3. Because applied force was there, pseudo force was there, we are not focusing on the internal force. Am I right? So, what is the work done now? What is the work done now? Work done is happening for to the left side. What is the force which we are acting? It was 2 by 3. How much distance this has moved? x1. What is the force acting on this block? It was 2 by 3. How much distance this body has moved? x2. So this has resulted in storing the potential energy in the spring. So what is the total potential energy of spring? The total extension which we have seen, x1 plus x2 whole square. So what we are getting now? 2 by 3 x1 plus x2 is half k x1 plus x2 with a whole square. This get cancelled. So what we are getting now? x1 plus x2, which we are to calculate with a, and 4 by 3 by k. Am I right? So final answer I can write. Final answer I can write x1 plus x2 is equal to what? 4 by 3k. 4 by 3. K was given in the question as 20. So I'll be writing here 20. Am I right? So this was 20. How much we are getting now? This is, you may write 2 and you may write 10. You may write 10. Am I right? Why I am writing? Because in the question it is asked in centimeter. So I am getting something like 2 by 3 into 10 as what? In what? Meter. If I write 200 by 3 into 10, this get cancelled to 20 by 3 as what? Centimeter. 20 by 3 as what? Centimeter. So this is the option for this question number 25. I think idea is very clear to everyone, but am I right? Solve this question now. Next. Given that the force acts on a body for time t1 displaces the body by d, then in which of the following cases the speed must increase? It is very simple, beta. Magnitude less or large doesn't make any sense. It should act parallel. If it should act parallel to it, only then we can say the maximum kinetic energy change or maximum kinetic energy we can have. Am I right? Or maximum velocity we have. So that is the point. They must be parallel. Now question number 27. Question number 27 says, from this graph which you have shown, which is incorrect? So it is a speed time graph, beta. It is a speed time graph. You can see speed, from which of the graph moving in a straight line, decide which of the following. So it is a velocity time graph, beta, not a speed, because speed can never be negative, but velocity can be negative. So you can see the graph is moving in this, we are drawn in this direction only with the increasing slope, So speed of this particle increases continuously and particle crosses initial position, that is true. But the point there comes, speed is increases continuously. You can't see because initially it was minus v. Then at reaching this point it is getting what? 0. Something like you have projected the body up, moved up to maximum height, getting down. When projected up, so what is the velocity it is having at the highest point? 0. Initially it was having some velocity, at highest point it is having what? 0. So we are saying what? The speed is not continuously increasing for this graph. So this is the incorrect statement which we are supposed to consider. So this is the question number 27. Now next point. It's also an amazing question. An automobile starts initially at rest, engine is giving the constant power. What is the position? So better just note down. Power is nothing but force into velocity. What is the value of force? We can write m dv by dt as an acceleration into v. So this was the power. So we can write v dv is equal to what, beta? Power by mass into what? Dt. Integrate. When you integrate, what we are getting, beta? V square by 2 is equal to what? P by m into t. Am I right? So what we are getting for v now? We are getting v as 2p by m raised to power 1 by 2 into t raised to power 1 by 2. I think idea is very clear. And when you are writing v, then v can be written as dx by dt, because in the question he asked position as a function of time. So dx by dt we have to write, which is 2p by m raised to power 1 by 2 t raised to power 1 by 2. So I am leaving it to an exercise that dx comes out to be 2p by m raised to power 1 by 2 t raised to power 1 by 2 into dt, then integrate. So we are getting integration of dx as x, 2p by m raised to power 1 by 2 t raised to power 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2 become 3 by 2. This become 2 by 3. So x is equal to 3 by 2 it become, am I right? Sorry, it is 3 by 2. 3 by 2. So 2 goes up. If you get into bracket, it become 8. Because 2 goes up, then get into bracket 2 square, 2 is already there, become 8 p. 3 is out, bring 3 2 inside the square root, 9 m raised to power 1 by 2 and t raised to power what, beta? 3 by 2. So you got this answer as your answer number A. That is 8p by 9m and t raised to power 3 by 2. That is the answer. So I think this idea is very clear to everyone. That is question number 28 happened. Am I right? Now next. This is also a very good question. Question number 29. That there we are having the light rod. It is very, very important, beta. It is given as shown, and a point mass is attached to the center of the stick, which is initially held horizontal. It is then released immediately after with the there. And what is the normal action here? We are expecting the normal action here. At what is the value? Massless stick. It is very important. Massless stick. We have placed a particle here, but this stick is not having any mass. Okay. So let me write the equations. I hope the idea is very understood. Am I right? This is very important. It is a massless stick, and we have placed a mass at the center. Now listen. Listen this thing very carefully. This was there. Normal action was happening like this. Am I right? mg was happening like this. This distance was what? It was L by 2. It was what? L by 2. And this was there. This was the normal action. So what is the value of this? What is the value of this? It is mg. Am I right? So what do we write? Downward force mg, upward force normal action. Since it is moving down with an acceleration AC as center of mass, so you will be writing MAC. And this is the one of the value. And since it is also rotating about this point with an angular acceleration alpha, so I can write AC is equal to L by 2 alpha. Am I right? AC is equal to what? L by 2 alpha, because this is L by 2 and this is L by 2. This is AC happening and this is alpha, so AC is equal to L by 2 alpha. This is also there. This equation is also there. And another one is there, the torque equation. Torque about this point O. Torque about point O, we are writing. Who is applying the force? How many forces do we have? mg and normal action. But normal action about this point is not giving any torque. Only mg is given. How much torque? mg. Distance is what? L by 2. Am I right? Is equal to what? The moment of inertia. What is the moment of inertia? Because it is a point mass, distance is L by 2. So moment of inertia become m into what? L by 2 square into what? Alpha. So when you solve, we are getting 1L get cancelled. So we are getting alpha into L by 4 into G by 2. 2 get cancelled also. So we are getting alpha L, am I right, is equal to 2 G by 2. I can write like this, am I right? So what is the value of alpha L by 2? It is AC. AC. It is nothing but AC nowadays. So put the value AC here. So what we are getting N? What we are getting N now? Can you answer? We are getting N as mg minus m. What is the value of AC? What is the value of AC? It was alpha L by 2. Alpha L by 2 value is what? Nothing but G. So mg minus mg, count, it is 0. So that is the answer. I think idea is very clear. Very simple thing has happened here. Massless rod, particle there, mg acting down, giving torque. First we have written the equation. Downward force minus upward force is MAC. And then we have written the equation like that. And then we said AC down, alpha is there, AC is equal to L by 2 alpha. Then we have written the torque equation, because only there were two forces acting, N and mg. So N was not providing any torque about this point O, only mg was providing the torque, whose value was mg into L by 2 is equal to m into L by 2 square into alpha. So we have written alpha L by 2 is basically nothing. We have seen it was AC. So AC you are getting answer as G. Put that value here, the value of G here. So mg minus mg getting what? 0. So normal action for this case becomes what? The 0 as the answer. I think idea is very clear to everyone now. And lastly, now this is a very amazing question. Very amazing question. Simple vector concept. Vector velocity. A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. So I will explain it to you. What is that? A rod is there like this, which is moving in this direction. Which is moving in this direction. This rod is there, which is moving in this direction. Idea is very clear. This rod is placed here, which is moving in this direction, and this rod is there, which is moving in this direction. So what is happening in the due course, these velocities are perpendicular, that is also very, very important, and this is the point of contact. So focus on this point. When they will move like this, you can see that body has moved, this point of contact has moved from there to there, am I right? The point of contact has moved from there to there, am I right? So after that, I have drawn the diagram for you all so that you can understand. This line is parallel to this line is parallel to this line. So you may take a screenshot of it. It will be very fruitful for you. And how to solve this idea, because this was V2, this was alpha, this was 90. Am I right? Why alpha? Because these two are parallel lines and this is a transversal line. So this alpha, this alpha. So what is the value of this velocity in this line? So it will be V2 by sin alpha. V2 by sin alpha. Why sin alpha? Because this is a right angle triangle. And what is happening? Because this was the location of the point P. With the due time, the particle has moved up to this point. You call it as P dash. So particle has moved from P to P dash. Am I right? And here, this has moved in the perpendicular direction because it was given. They were moving perpendicular in the mutual direction and the angle was given as alpha. So this is also alpha. This is also alpha. Why? Because this was alpha. This is also alpha. This is what? 90 because it was given. They were moving perpendicular. This was V1. So what is the component which you can act along this parallel line? It will be like again V1 by sin alpha. Am I right? So since you got two vectors, they are acting at an angle alpha. So their resultant must be lying in this direction. So what is the velocity of P? P dash we can write. In the time t, you can say this body has moved in this direction and time t this body has moved in this direction. Am I right? So this is what I can write. So factually I can write directly as V1 by sin alpha whole square plus what beta? V2 by sin alpha whole square plus what? 2 V1 V2 cos alpha by sin square alpha. Am I right? Since distance covered is there, by time I can write, and distance by time is basically nothing but speed. So I am writing it very clearly. And when we are getting P dash, it's getting out to be square root V1 square plus V2 square plus 2 V1 V2 cos alpha by what? Sin alpha as our answer. I think idea is very clear. Yes, future doctor, hello, how are you? I hope you have enjoyed this session. And I want that all of you must be the future doctors, future engineers, future scientists, future innovators, future of India. Am I right? And that future of India will meet on 28th of September and 12th of October in the score exam and secure their future by score exam. Am I right? So this was the answer to us for this question, which was V1 square plus V2 square plus 2 V1 V2 cos alpha by yes, beta. What I mean, beta, the thing is, right now we are focusing on the concepts, and it is very, very important. The one who is very good, performing very well, always get unique platform. So I will give it to you. You should crack this score exam, and we will definitely get you onto this board. Am I right? So it is very, very important not to worry about that. Just worry about 28th of September. Only 12 days are left for it. So I mean, whatever you are left with, make very fast, make very hurry, finish it up without wasting any single minute. Don't forget to enroll. It is very, very important. So this is there. So this was our last question of the session. That was the question number 30. So we are writing this score exam, which is very, very important. Am I right? So previously what we discussed in the previous videos, you have seen mechanics we have discussed. You must note down each and every note, must understand each and everything. And most importantly, beta, question which I have given you today, that question was just showing it to you again, that you must not forget that question. That question is like this question number 17. You have taken the screenshot of it, and I have given you this as an exercise. It is very important. It will boost your analysis in solving this question. Am I right? So finally, we are concluding the session, and in the session what we are discussing, that score is very important. Very important. Am I right? So let's finally, this was the answer which we have got for this question number 30. And again, for all your favorite, this score exam is happening, which is India's largest scholarship exam, worth of rupees 2.5 crores. You will be getting the cash rewards, NASA trips, 350 crores scholarship, and up to 100% scholarship, which already the students who has enrolled for the score, they will be getting. That is for sure, because they have attended the sessions and they will definitely crack the exam. And exciting gadgets, register now, because link is given in the description. So don't forget the description given for this video. And if you really liked this video, so like, comment, share and subscribe. Don't forget to put a bell button, because next session is last session of with the mock test 3, which is going to happen very, very important. I want you should stay tuned and don't forget to miss that session. And when you are there live with us, you can say any doubt of yours, if you are having any, that we are getting. Okay, there's beta, like I don't know, I can speak. Yes, means I just I can speak in English or Hindi, something like that, but won't be able to understand Telugu. Nenu Telugu ledu, am I right? So I don't know what you have written, beta, but God bless you. What is that? We'll be discussing it a bit later. Am I right? So I will learn Telugu also. So like, comment and share and subscribe also. It's very, very important. And don't forget to register the score. It is given 28th of September and 12th of October. Description is given to you. So must be there. Next, what is score discussed? It is happening national level scholarship exam for the students who are from 3 to 11. They are happening with that too. And whole mechanics will be tested in physics. And score exam, where we can win up to the 100% of scholarship. You can join our topmost batches by scoring good result in this, which is very, very important. And I assure you, upcoming single digit ranks will definitely let you know that all they have attended the sessions and they have definitely scored the good rank in the all India ranks, single digit ranks. So compete with India's brightest brains, because they have already registered with us. So you just don't forget to stand with them, to compete with them on the common platform. So you will be definitely, recognition will be there. You will be getting rewarded, something like that. And most importantly, your photo will be there with us. Am I right? So I want you should score very good marks this time. So I want that. Am I right? Yes, future doctor. Now, next point is, this is eligible for 3rd to 11. Dates are 28th of September and 12th of October. Online, offline mode is there, and it is given in the description box. Don't forget. And the dates are given. So I hope every one of you have registered and preparing very well. Just 2 out of the box and secure your rank. Very, very important. Date of exam, duration of the exam will for class 11th will be 120 minutes. As I said, 30 questions each from each subject for the NEET. And like, comment and share. Don't forget, very important. Follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Join us on the Telegram. Download from the Play Store. And don't forget to follow us on the Facebook. So this is all about for today's session. Thank you very much and best wishes for your future doctors, future IITians, future scientists. God bless you all. Thank you.